I've got the new Artist Couture Supreme Nudes eyeshadow palette to share with you guys today, and I purchased this off of the Artist Couture website for $40. It says also on the back it's a pressed pigment palette eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. I know Sephora does also sell Artist Couture, and I'm thinking that they'll probably get this palette soon, but right now I think the only place it's available is the Artist Couture website. On the back of the box, it does say that the bulk was made in the USA and it was assembled in the Dominican Republic. I did do a demo with this palette, which is the look that's on my eyes right now, and that will be towards the end of the video if you're interested in seeing how I got this look and how these eyeshadows went on for me. But there are 12 eyeshadows in this palette, and each shadow is 0.05 ounces per shade, which is a decent amount of product that you're getting. The packaging is a hard plastic with a magnetic closure, and there's something about the way that it feels really sleek. Like even the corners of the palette are kind of rounded and it's very thin. It just feels very sleek in the hands. The palette has 8 matte eyeshadows, and then it's got 3 kind of shimmer foiled shadows, and then one that's really foiled, which is this opulence shade up here. Talking a little bit about the formulation, I found that the matte eyeshadows have a lot of pigmentation to them, and they don't kick up a lot of product when you put your brush in there. They're pressed very well. I had very minimal fallout, and I found that the shadows built and blended very nice. I was actually really impressed with them. The shimmer shades too, nice pigmentation, nice shine, and nice finish to them. I do have on the inner corner of my eye one of his little this one here is the Icy Girl Diamond Lights finisher, which this is my first one of these that I have purchased. And the palette does not contain a light shimmery shade kind of for the inner portion, so I went ahead and I used that diamond finisher on the inner portion of my lid. For this to be a one and done eyeshadow palette for me, I would have loved the inclusion of a lighter shimmer shade. I feel like that's the only thing missing for how I like to do my eyeshadow. Otherwise, it's got quite everything. It's got a nice matte brow bone shade. It deepened up a little bit on me underneath the brow, but it's still worked out nice. There's beautiful transition shades, some deeper matte shades in here. Just a really nice palette. It's got kind of a slightly warm olive feel to it. I got along with it really well, which gets me kind of excited to see if he's going to come out with some more kind of palettes like this, because they are just so sleek. So here is the packaging up close. It's a glossy plastic finish, and then the back of it does have the sticker with all of the information on it. And then inside there is a mirror that says Artist Couture on it. There's a plastic piece over mine still, but it does say Artist Couture. And there are your 12 eyeshadows. For matte eyeshadows, you've got Exposed, Transcend, Nudist, Stripped, Aesthetic, Silhouette, Eccentric, and Mink. And then for kind of the shimmer shades, you've got Lavish, Bronziana, and Supreme. There are very, very fine micro glitters in Lavish and Supreme. And then the shade Opulence is kind of like a metallic finish. It's a little bit more of a chunky type of a texture that also has very fine micro glitters in it. So let's go ahead and give you guys some swatches here. Yeah, just the texture, they're very substantial. I feel like those mattes are pigmented and they're pressed kind of just right without being too dusty or too soft or anything like that. The softest one was probably the matte shade I used underneath the brow, but I'm very, very happy with this palette. So there are the first 4 right there. Got this next row. And then the bottom row here. So there are all the swatches right there. I'll go ahead and swatch the Diamond Lights finisher that I purchased as well. There's 0.12 ounces of product in here, which for such a small container, there's actually quite a bit of product in this guy. And it does say on the back of the box that this is made in the USA. So it comes in square packaging. And then the product is kind of a little sifter jar. Now, these are a more chunky type of a texture. I kind of feel like you have to buff it in or kind of break them up a little bit, and then you get a really high shine metallic that's really stunning. Like I put it on my cheeks in the demo portion as well as on the lid, and I was surprised that even though, you know, I have a set face, that these adhered pretty decently. I thought that I was going to have to use, you know, have a more tacky base for them to kind of cling to the cheek, like maybe a finishing spray or something, but I still think that they went on pretty decent on the cheek. But if I take a brush and go like this, I do get some of it brushed off. So if you want real intensity out of this guy, I would definitely like wet my brush or something like that. On the eyes, I used it directly over a tacky type of a primer, and it just went on super pretty, very metallic. I kind of want all of these. I'm gonna pick some up on my finger here. And this shade Icy Girl has got a slight, like a very slight pink and purple shift to it. It's very interesting because it's not super strong. It still remains kind of like a white, but there are just very minute shifts of blue and pink in here. So there it is right there. You can see it's got a little bit more of a chunky type of a texture. I'm gonna actually put it on my palm. There's a little bit, because I still have swatches on the other side, and there's a little bit more of a kind of a moisture factor on my palm as opposed to the back of my hand, so you guys can see it better. But that's Icy Girl right there. And I do think it is quite pretty. And again, I do have a little bit of that on the top of my cheeks, and I also used it on the inner portion of my eye today. The Diamond Lights finishers are $25 each. There was a collection of lipsticks that was released with this palette as well, which I almost bought one, but then I didn't. But I might go back and buy one and a couple more of those little eyeshadows. But it does say on the website about the palette, it's an array of neutral, cool, and warm tones that are sure to reign supreme. Personally, the only cool shade that I see in here is kind of this one right here, and maybe a little bit, this one's more neutral than cool, but that's kind of the only shade that I would say is a cool shade. But still, it's got a nice variety, but I think it leans more warm olive than anything. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Now, if you're interested in seeing the look that's on my eyes and how these products perform for me, you can hang tight and we'll get into it right now. I'm going to take the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick in Opal 01 and this Zoeva 146 concealer brush. And I'm going to use this to prime my lids from the lash line to up underneath the brow. I've been loving this brush to put primer on my eyelids. Puts it on really evenly and blends it out super quick. I'm yet to try it out as an actual concealer brush, like for like underneath the eyes and stuff, but I love the shape of this. So this is a little bit of a wild card. I'm going to take the Diamond Lights finisher in Icy Girl, and I'm going to put that on the inner portion of the eye using a Goss number 18 brush. This is the old school flat shader version. And we'll see. I think I'm going to put this on the face too. Okay, yeah, that is super pretty. It actually has like a slight blue, very slight though, very slight blue pinky duochrome to it. What the heck? I'm going to take this Rephr P09 brush and dip into that same Icy Girl and put a little bit of this on my cheeks. I don't know how well it'll do on a like kind of non-sticky base, but oh, that shows up. That's pretty. You guys know I like to be seen from space with my highlighter. Using that same Goss 18, I'm going to go into the shade Lavish right here and put that on the center of the lid. See what she looks like. It's kind of a an olive gold color. Gonna mix it right in with that Icy Girl. Then I'm gonna use that same brush again and pick up the shade Supreme, which is a green, dark green shade, and just put it on the outer portion and blend it inwards kind of. Teeny bit of fallout, not too bad though. Then I'm gonna use a Chikuhodo GSN9 brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Aesthetic right there, or Aesthetic, and this will be the first matte shade that I'm using, and I'm going to put this angled up towards the tail of the brow and through the crease. Then I'm going to take a Sonia G mini booster brush and I'm going to go into the shade Eccentric, which is kind of a mustard brown with a little bit more brown than mustard. But it's a kind of a transition-y type shade. I'm going to blend out that aesthetic shade. Go back in with my GSN 9, not picking up any more product. Then I'm going to take an Esom G29 brush and I'm going to go into the shade Exposed. These are all matte shades from the crease up so far. This is a matte brow bone shade. It deepens up a little bit more than what it looks like in the pan on my skin, but then I'm going to take that same mini booster brush from Sonia G and go into the shade Stripped. And I'm going to put that up here. These mattes are very nice. Very nice. Without picking up any more product, I'm going to take that same Esom G29 and just run it through here. And there is the eyeshadow done. It was pretty simple, worked out pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my eye makeup and I'll be right back to put on some lips for you guys. For lips, I've got Lancome's lip liner in number 11 Bronzelle, which I have been loving. I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips with this guy. I'm gonna bring it in just a bit. And then to fill them in, I grabbed Charlotte Tilbury's lipstick in Angel Alessandra. This guy right here, it's got a bit of a warm, peachy undertone to it. It's a nude. And there is the overall finished look using the new Artist Couture Supreme Nudes eyeshadow palette. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.